everybody. I'd like to welcome Linda Lacunza. She's written this amazing middle grade novel, and it's basically all about wild creatures. And she's lived in Northern California and here, and all of the creatures featured in her book that she's going to talk about pretty much run the whole state of California. So it's about taking care of wildlife and like making sure we do our best to,
That's the subtle message behind the story.
Right, so I spoiled it.
That's fine.
But it's great to see more middle grade because we get a lot of picture books and whatnot, but it's really cool to see a middle grade chapter book. And she's got the coloring book to go with it, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it has a great message.
Thank you so much. So hi everyone, I'm Linda Lacunza, and after all the crazy wildfires of California, I realized somebody's out there taking care of all the animals. And I hadn't really thought about that, because you think about the firefighters, and you're so grateful for everyone who's helping with the power and everything. Then I thought, who's helping with the animals? Because they don't get any government funding. So I wrote this book because I was really motivated to help them. All my profits will go to animal rescue. And it turns out it's a really sweet story about a pet bunny who gets busted out of his cage, not his cage, his backyard, by a jackrabbit. And they go on their mystery to solve, to solve what is happening with the wild animals. And the secret is it has to do with the animal rescuers. It's a happy ending, even though it's a little mystery about what's really going on. So I also have a coloring book that goes along with this, and it's only $5, by the way. It's really something I kind of just wanted to give. I just had to cover the printing, because what I love is for little brains to really pay attention to how important animals are. And not only wild animals, because it turns out that the pet animals, like Cowboy here, they have a pretty big role too, because they remind us every day, oh yeah, we're connected to nature too. We're all in this together. So that's what this book is about. I know some of you have to leave promptly, so feel free. But if you're sticking around, I'll just give a little more details with how this worked. So this is actually Mount Shasta, California, and this is not an altered picture. My husband took this picture. It was after a rainstorm, and we were on our bikes, and you know how when you're on your bikes in the rain, it's kind of exciting, it's kind of fun. And we got home, and we're all kind of giggly, and he took this picture when the rain stopped. What we didn't notice at the time is there's a little puff of smoke right here, and that's because the lightning came and started a fire. And so, and then it looked like this, just, I don't know, in less than a day. So that ended up starting what was a pretty scary time, but everyone was fine. And later, I went out with my magic camera and went out and stalked the wildlife about what was going on. And I found Finjamin, who was out in the wild. He got busted out by Kelly the jackrabbit. So I was lucky that I got these pictures. They met a bat. You see the bat? The little guy there? They met a bat and learned that even though bats, they're kind of creepy, they're a little bit weird. That's because we're not used to them. They're actually amazing. They're super clean, which is surprising. That's why they stay up high above all the mess on the ground. Do you know why they sleep up? How about you? Do you know why bats stay up high when they sleep upside down? Turns out because their wings aren't that strong, so they have to climb up, fall asleep, and then if danger comes, they can just start flying. They don't have strong wings like like a strong bird. Just another picture. Oh, these aren't in order. Uh-oh. Hold that thought. They met, what kind of animal is that? Fish, catfish. And this catfish is not in the water because actually, you might not know this, I learned this, they can fill their stomachs up with air and then they can come out of water. They can keep their head out of water for a while. And one time my husband and I were kayaking here and a little guy came up and checked us out. It was really surprising. But for Finjamin and Kelly, they learned a lot by talking to Johnson the catfish, because catfish can live, I don't know, 15 years? They can live a long time. So he had some stories to tell them about what humans are doing. Let's see. They met, what's that, Max? They met a baby deer, but it turned out some of the baby deer were getting grabbed by humans, and that made them afraid. Like, what are the humans taking deer for? You gotta read the book to find out. They met, Max? They met an eagle. Do eagles and rabbits get along? Are they usually best friends? Not so much. Those teeth, those claws, talons, they can be pretty scary for rabbits. But because they had so many friends, Finjamin was okay. Oops. They met one of these guys. Do you know what that is, Max? It's a goose. It's a Canadian goose. Canadian geese are really, really loyal to each other. So when they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they stay together forever. Hi. And so this couple, sadly, the boyfriend got taken away by humans again. So now these guys are really wondering what's going on. Got to find out in the book what happened to the geese. Then we finally met, what is it? Bobcat. Bobcat. Yeah, that's kind of a bad picture. They finally met the bobcat. This is kind of like a bobcat, a little different. They finally met the bobcat, and turns out the bobcat had all the answers. I'm not going to tell you how, but I'll tell you a little bit about that bobcat. Here's the picture I drew of him. In my book, all of the art I did, and I'm not a trained artist, but I was so motivated by these adorable animals that I just didn't stop until I had them. But this one is a true story about this guy. If you read in the news, you'll find a story about, see how hurt his feet are? That is in the, if you read the news, you can look online and look for Lava Bob, they called him, because it was a lava fire. And he tried to run from the fire, and he's fine, but his feet got so burned and damaged that humans came and they put fish skin. They actually put the skin of fish on his feet and made him better. But here's how bad his feet were. You might not want to see. It's pretty ouchy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he had it pretty rough. But they bandaged him up.
Oh.
They took care of him, because that's what humans do. By the way, the moral of the story is that there's some pretty wonderful humans out here. And now he's just fine again. And they were really good, by the way. When they took care of him, they didn't let him know that it was humans who were taking care of him, because that could be a problem, right? They want wild animals to stay wild, and pets to stay adorable pets. So that's kind of, there was a couple other animals that show up. There's a coyote who was already captured. There's, of course, a bear. There's always going to be a bear in a story because they're always exciting. Anyway, there's a bunch of other animals in the story too, but I don't want to give too much away. You sort of have an idea of what's going on already. But that's what happened in this story, and that's sort of it. So thank you. If you're interested in learning more or asking any questions about the book, I'm happy to.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions.
Yes.
How did you get inspired to create this whole world?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I think mostly, as I said, when I read in the news about the bobcat, and I just really hit me about how much humans are giving to help animals. And it's kind of behind the scenes. And by the way, this one right here, come on back. She actually works for the Santa
Well, I volunteer at the Wildlife Care Network, yeah.
At the Wildlife Care Network, which is Santa Barbara's version of the people who helped Wildfire
Yeah, we've
Bob.
gotten some bobcats in, yeah, especially during the wildfires here a few years back.
Actually, if you don't mind telling a tiny bit about what they are and do.
They're pretty much our local wildlife network. They, especially during this season, it's very busy because a lot of baby birds come in, baby bunnies, baby, all the babies that are being like either abandoned or their parents are, by cars, something like that. So like, it's really important to donate. They're always looking for volunteers. If you just look up the Wildlife Care Network, they're amazing. They do anything from baby birds to we've got bobcats, owls, stuff like that. They're amazing.
Got an owl here too. Nice. But thank you, Susan. So locally, the animal rescues that I want to contribute to are the Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network, as well as bunnies urgently needing shelter. So those are two that are in Santa Barbara that are just caring for these animals. There's so much going on that we don't even know about. It's just happening out there. So I was really motivated by that. Also, I am incredibly in love with that little thing, Cowboy the dog. 7 pounds of 17-year-old fluff. And even though the lead character in this book is Finjamin the bunny, he's really kind of based on the character of this little guy because he's just a sweetie. And it turns out pets have a really important role, I think, in keeping the balance of nature because they keep us in touch with every day we get to see an animal and feel an animal's love and understand that it's out there for us to take care of. So that's pretty much it. I'm happy to do any reading of the chapters or anything, but if anyone has questions or would like to be excused, you're welcome to do that as well.
Are you going to read on YouTube?
Well, apparently this is going to be on YouTube, so I'm happy to read a chapter.
Yeah.
Maybe not a full chapter, but of the animals, I was going to ask the kids this, but it's spring break, so we don't have too many kids. So you're my representative. Which of these animals would you most want to hear about right now? A bear? A bunny. Okay. I don't have no glasses. That's going to slow things down. Give me 1 second.
I can put those. I can put these to the front for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. You want me to put those?
No, I haven't paid for it yet.
Okay. But you paid for these.
I did.
Okay.
So, by popular request, I'll read a little bit about the jackrabbit chapter. And this is a pretty darn good jackrabbit. It represents all the different features that make jackrabbits not only adorable and unique, but makes them able to survive in the hot deserts and as they do. So I'll just start here. Finjamin wobbled his head and responded, "I'm Finjamin." This is when they first met. "I'm Finjamin. Nice to meet you." As soon as his head cleared, he had just fallen, he managed to really look at Kelly for the first time. Kelly was beautiful. Kelly was beautiful. She was so much larger and scrawnier than Finjamin. She had long, bony legs, enormous feet, and had these amazingly tall ears speckled with dirt. She was covered in coarse fur, the perfect color of dust and shadows. Her tail was black. She had a charming habit of twitching her upper lip and revealing those 2 pretty buck teeth. She's hiding them there. Pause there. So let me talk about jackrabbits for a second. What makes this guy perfectly developed? I'm gonna pet him real quick. He needs a little love. That's Kelly. Thank you. So, what makes Kelly perfect for living in the desert? Because this is Finjamin. Finjamin's a pet bunny, and he can't really live in the desert the same way. Let's see. What do you notice is different about these guys? What's the first thing?
In the wild, there's more danger.
It's a lot more
And
dangerous. Yep.
That's why they have bigger ears.
Yes, that's it. Yes, so Finjamin's ears are flopping down. So that's not so helpful when you're trying to hear things, right? Kelly, her ears are up and alert and twitching around. Also, because they go up, they can help keep her cool, because all the blood, remember you painted a pink there? That's perfect. All that helps cool down. Where his are keeping him warm. It's like a little hat. So she gets to stay cool. She gets to hear danger. She's got much bigger feet, and that helps because in the desert it's a little uncomfortable to run. So big feet take some of the pokingness away. What else? So her tail is dark, but underneath is white. Now that's a funny thing, right? You wouldn't think that matters, but it does, because when she's running away from danger, she flips up her tail. And suddenly the coyote's going, wait, what's that? That's not what I was chasing. I was chasing something with a dark tail. And so it confuses him just for a second, and Kelly gets away. So that's some funny stuff about jackrabbits. Thank you for asking. Ooh, your painting's looking good. Any other animals you would want to hear about? We got a bear, we got a bat, we got a goose, a coyote, bear. So this is the bear. And frankly, I think they're adorable. I love a bear. You hug a bear. You keep him company for a second. I'll find a chapter. Let's see. Now the bear in this story doesn't have a big role because they were just innocently doing their own thing being bears. And what are bears usually busy doing? Eating. So that kind of scared the rabbits. So let's see what happens here. Let's see. Just as Kelly was saying that there's no bears in this area because they stay up in the mountains, as if on cue, just as the words escaped her furry lips, a little black bear, like that one, waddled out from the side of the building. "Oh no," Kelly said in a whisper so loud it was almost like a breathy scream. "The fire on the mountain must have destroyed their food up there, and now they've come down here to eat. It's even the daytime. Don't move." The little bear was wobbling around like a toddler. Its fuzzy round ears were greasy, and its small pointy nose was sticky with food. They were eating out of the trash cans. The bear seemed happy, clumsily pawing and sniffing at the cans. But suddenly, for no reason, it stopped, turns its head, and looks directly at the rabbits. Both bunnies were still as stones. The bear's innocent eyes blinked, curiously for a moment. Then it grunted, threw its head back, and opened its mouth to the skies, screaming, "Mom!" Once again, Kelly screamed, "Run!" And this time, Finjamin didn't pause. They bounded away for the flower beds and scrambled to the nearby bushes for cover. So that's a little bit of the scariest chapter. I won't go on to see what happens, but the bunnies are okay. But that's what happened with the bear. Thank you. So bears can be scary if our lead character is a rabbit, but usually they're not looking to eat rabbits. They eat berries, they like fish, they kind of eat anything. That's why they were eaten out of the trash. But they're sweet. We like the bears too. Hey, I see a couple more folks have shown. Any other animals? Want me to remind you what we had? Bobcat, goose, coyote, catfish. Catfish. I don't have a catfish here today. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to choose another one. My catfish is visiting my mom. How about the goose? Okay. I also don't have a goose. I'll just show the picture. Give me 1 minute. So in this book, as I said, I did all the paintings, and I'm not a trained artist, but I was just so motivated to get this story out and to share with everybody that I didn't stop painting until I felt like I had them. So let me see if I can find, what do we have? There's a bobcat, eagle, the baby bear, looks so innocent there, baby deer. Now that baby deer is in a blanket, so that tells you Maybe the humans found this one, right? There's our goose. So that's a I want to say Canadian goose, but the real word is Canada goose. It's a Canada goose, which is a funny way to say that to me. As long as I have these, what do we got here? Catfish. You can see why it's called a catfish, right? With the cat whiskers. Got our bat. Coyote. And then back to Kelly the jackrabbit. Finjamin the bunny. And when they became friends. What else do I have? Oh, there's a bunch more. We'll stop. All right, back to the Canada goose. Now, I don't know that Canada geese come to Santa Barbara.
They do.
They do? Where do they go?
I've seen them at Lake Casitas. Around there,
Excellent.
so.
Okay. Good. I was hoping so. Let's see the Canada goose. All right. So this goose's name is Pepper. And Pepper has a Canadian accent. I don't know if I can do it very well, but we'll try. Dozens of birds were flying towards the bunnies. Their flight was coordinated, just like a team, as if a coach was calling out, "Veer left, now veer right." They were all playfully shouting over each other. The clamor of the constant honking echoed across the water. The flock landed at the water's edge, half settling on the lake and half in the mud. This seemed to be a source of great debate as they shouted to each other over which spot was the best. They were clearly one big happy family, and like all loving families, there were yelling and laughing. Finjamin had never heard anything so loud. One of the birds, why did I put it away? Anyway, Pepper, flapped its large in a strange greeting to Kelly. It was a very large bird, almost 3 feet long. 3 feet. It had a black head and neck, white cheeks and chin, and a brown body. And instead of sharp, tearing beak, like the eagle had, remember the eagle was scary, this one was round and gentle. Most importantly to Finjamin, instead of those dagger-like talons, it had these big black feet with webbing. Turns out that was perfect for paddling through water, swimming, not capturing bunnies. "It's my friend Pepper," Kelly told Finjamin. "She's a Canada goose, not a bald eagle. She's amazing. She can fly hundreds of miles a day." Okay, Canadian accent. "Hey, Kelly, what's new, eh?" "Who's your friend?" asked Pepper in a playful, honky voice as she waddled her large body towards them. "Hi, this is Finjamin," Kelly answered. Pepper regarded Finjamin with a smile. "Hey, Finjamin, you're a little thing, ain't ya? Well, good day, little guy." Finjamin hesitated, one wary eye looking at the bird and one looking at rocks he could hide in. He had just seen an eagle, so. Good day to you, too. "Oh, and this here's my gang, eh?" Pepper motioned to the 50 or so birds that were on the shore, and a chorus of hellos honked out in response. "Hey, how's it going?" "Not bad," Finjamin answered. "Are you going to try to eat us?" "Nope, I'm a vegetarian." "Who tried to eat you, eh?" Pepper asked with a feisty look in her eye. "An eagle," Kelly said. Pepper bobbed her long neck. "Oh, yeah, you have to watch out for them. Even I have to be careful with those guys." That's a little bit about Pepper. So, what can I tell you about geese? Just that this is Cowboy, and he's 7 pounds, and that bird is probably 3 cowboys big. So these are great big birds, but they have to be because they fly all the way from Canada to, I forgot how far south they go, but pretty far. So they're really strong. Those are amazing little birds. Thank you for asking about them. Any other questions about animals or the book? No? Well, I would love if you wanted to pick this up. Chaucer's is carrying both the paperback and the hardcover. Personally, I think the hardcover, the coloring looks nice, and it also lasts longer, in case you want to have your littles read it. It makes a lovely chapter book, and every chapter starts with one of those stories. find one of those pictures. It's a mystery. You kind of have an idea of the end, but I still think there'll be some surprises. And it has the matching coloring book, which I was giving a prize for the best coloring of the day, and I think we have a winner.
Nice.
Nice.
So nicely done. I'll get that to you in a moment. Anyway, I would love it if you did this. As I said, I'm donating all of my proceeds of these books to Animal Rescue, and locally that's the Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network and Bunnies Urgently Needing Shelter Bunnies. So I would love if you could support that. Thank you.
All right, yes. So thanks so much for joining us. We have the books up front behind the registers if you want to
I
grab
would say
one,
half hour.
and then come back,
Is
and
that
she'll be
soon
happy to
enough?
sign them for you.
Yay.
Is it half an hour?